6. John, do you want to jump in on the arming the Gardaí, was that?
Yeah, I would be totally against it, Neil, because I think, look, I don't care what they do in other countries and who's armed and who's not armed in other countries, right? But we've got on very well here with the system that we have here where the guards are not armed, except the special response units, like which we do need more of, right? But the minute you introduce
they told me, got an anonymous email from people working within the that response unit, the armed response unit. They said that if they get if there's a limited amounts of SUVs, you know, those we see, the armed response units, and if one of them in Cork gets a call, they could have to go all the way to Limerick for that call.
Yeah, but that's what I mean by we have to have more of the emergency response units brought on board, right? But as regards arming the ordinary guards, I think the minute you introduce the gun to the ordinary Gardaí in the street, right, which there's not enough of, as that other lady said, you introduce a barrier, it becomes a dim and us. And I think the relationship that the public have with the Gardaí has been pretty good since the foundation of the state here. Right now, obviously, there's been a couple of bad apples.
All right, well, what about taser guns then?
I have no problem with tasers. I have no problem with body cams. Now, with the body cam, obviously, if there's a free-for-all going on or whatever, but the thing is, like, if you're engaged with the Gardaí and the Gardaí have their camera on, you can video them on your mobile phone then, and everyone is happy then. But definitely, I would introduce the tasers because...
you're acting the maggot, and the guard has a body cam, and you're acting the maggot, and you're filming the guard.
No, we'll say for the sake of
that's insane.
No, for this, it's for everyone's protection, because, I mean, cameras can be manipulated.
Well, we should be able to trust the Gardaí that if somebody's acting the maggot, they need to be able to get on with their job without some idiot filming them.
Well, you're entitled, as a citizen, to use the camera on your phone. And I mean, if the guard is doing everything...
Sorry, you want to arrest me because I'm a maggot. Hang on till I film you doing it.
No, well, I mean, if there's someone fighting the street or robbing a shop or something, that's a different story. But if you're engaging with someone, we say like the water campaign that time, if that happened again, some civil dispute and difference between the civilian population and the government and the Gardaí get involved, there would be no problem then you filming the Gardaí threatening to arrest you for something that you think you have a right to protest on.
That's a right to protest. That's entirely different to criminality.
Well, I'll just get to that in a second, now, right? Because...
all right, well, use your time wisely. I don't know, Mike, go on,
Yeah, two of the most dangerous politicians at the moment are Varadkar and Helen McEntee. Varadkar said he's only waiting for a nod from the Commissioner, Drew Harris, to arm the Gardaí. Just a nod will do, right? And I believe that nod won't come because I think Drew Harris doesn't want to go there. The Garda Representation Association don't want to go there. The Guards themselves don't want to go there. Helen McEntee is hell-bent to bringing in hate speech, which will, if you go into it sometime there and look at it yourself in your time, Neil, right? What actually is involved there will affect protests, normal type protests by the civilian population. Now, as the whole thing is that lady was on before me, she's quite right. It's not guns we need, it's more guards on the street. There's only 90 guards coming. There's only 90 guards coming out of Templemore this year. There's 300 guards retire every single year. And the last 5 years, 400 guards have left before retirement for a myriad of reasons because they're disillusioned, they feel they haven't got the backup, their health has got affected with the stress of it, and that never happened before. That's 400 guards will never draw a pension.
Mind you, the text here says, my sister's a guard, she's on 70 grand a year. She only graduated from Templemore 3 years ago. Angela's figures are rubbish. She's on 70 grand after 3 years out of Templemore. Can that be right?
Jeez, I don't know.
70 grand?
I doubt it somehow. Well, if she's getting it, I'll do so, but I just don't think it. I wouldn't. No, again, as I said, talk about the waste of police time. I engaged the two Gardaí last week there on this ridiculous trying to enforce this ridiculous PANA ban, which you've dealt with before. Two fine-stopping, tough-looking men, finest men I ever saw in uniform now. Two big guys, like, that they wouldn't be long getting stuck in if there was anything going on, any maggots around the place. And I said to them, lads, haven't you absolutely wasted here? And they totally agreed with me and they said, yes, we don't want to be here, but we're sent out there. What a colossal waste of two fine men in uniform.
Totally, yeah. Total waste. Ridiculous. A complete and utter waste of guard time.
And I'll finish on this, introducing the gun you want to be very careful, because we all see what happened in the year 2000 with John Carty down in Abilara. A man suffering from the severe depression wasn't even given the basic cigarette that he was looking for and was shot dead. Yeah. I mean, and you had a situation in Clonmel as well, then where there was an armed raid going on in a bank, and two different lots of armed Gardaí turned up and they shot each other. So when you introduce the gun, you have to be very careful.
All right, appreciate it, John. Text 0868 lots to do. Going to do a bunch of Free Food Friday shout-outs, just on a lighter note. We're starving. We'll love some food, says Scrappy and all the gang at Cork Metal in Dublin Hill. Depuy Di Poro, don't know where you are, but I know you're hungry, so good morning to you all listening there. Blue Co Skip Hire actually won a few weeks back, but they've come back and said, we're over the food coma and we're ready for some more. The Hungry Mechanics at Blackwater Motors in Forge Hill, PFH in Little Island, Bespoke Wedding Ceremonies, getting people ready for their Christmas engagements. EBO Home Rescue in the Marina, Easy Living Interiors. Feeling a little sick at the moment, would love some cheering up. Well, I hope you recover. If not, you might go and see the Heart and Vascular Department at the Mater Private. Morning to Joe and all the staff down there. Tails and Tubbs, Dog Grooming and Douglas Woolen Mills. Morning to you all. McLaren Loss Adjusters in Frankfield. Barry Joyce Cole, listening at the tip top of Fair Hill. Watson Marlow in Blackpool. Area Carpets and Flooring. Unique Fit Out in Glanmire. MMD Construction at the airport. Adam with DPD Depot 27. Morning to all at DPD. The West Cork Model Village in Clonakilty, who has that fantastic Polar Express on at the moment down there. Seat 21 in Blarney. The Immunisation Department of Mallow Primary Healthcare would love some food. Morning, Dervla. Kinsale Road Recycling. I love this one. They're a great bunch at the Kinsale Road Recycling. And the park ranger was on his rounds making sure people had their dogs on leads, even though they didn't believe him that the dogs had to be leashed. Well, I could go back to that topic for a few days. I've got some very harrowing stories actually on dog attacks. Dental Options in Cork, Smurfit Kappa, Fairfield Plastering Crew working in Moneygorney, to everybody Unified Packaging Group at the IDA Business Park in Carrigtwohill. So we'll do one final bunch of shout outs in about 20 minutes time. Free Food Friday, courtesy of ourselves and Roosters, Piri Piri, Douglas and Blackpool Retail Park. Back to the phone lines we go. 0818 104 106.
For more Red FM podcasts, go to
what do you look forward to? You look forward to, like, what's the food like? Do you look forward to mealtime? What do you look for? Alive to survive. He's forever telling them how good all the Irish treats look and taste, especially at Christmas time. Now, 2 years have passed since Switzerland, with a lot of dosh in it, and I believe there's even more money in India. So I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it's very, very interesting 3-part documentary carried out in hospitals across the country against staff. That's what we're talking about in County Wexford. It's not allowed in those public authority houses to keep dogs on the restricted dogs list. Because I think you have to contextualize it in the times. It turns 4 in December, ended up on the ground as punches and kicks yesterday, Thursday, December 1st. Now, that would have been a day when you would have had social welfare payments being paid out. It's an email as she got in touch on behalf of my elderly mother, who is 78. So my mother is 78, was in the GPO in Cork City yesterday, Thursday, December 1st. Now, that would have been a day when you would have had social welfare payments being paid out. It's also a particular day that we've dealt with in the past, because that's the day that an awful lot of people with all sorts of addiction issues are picking up money. I'm not saying this is related to this email, but they're picking up money and they're being met outside then by drug dealers who they owe money to, and so on and so forth. If you're ever down there on a Thursday morning, you'll see it plain as day. Anyway, my mother, who's 78, was in the GPO in Cork City on yesterday, Thursday, 1st of December. A massive fight took place there at around 1:15 lunchtime. 3 women, 2 men involved. It started at the entrance door of the GPO and then recommenced in the main queuing area, which was full of people. All fighting parties ended up on the ground as punches and kicking went on. It was an absolute disgrace. I pity the poor staff in the GPO and the security in there trying to deal with this kind of carry on. My mother told me there was no sign of guards while this was going on. She had a frightening experience for her and all of the others in the GPO, and she vowed never to return there again, as it is far too dangerous. Martin says, our city is ruined. I'm sending you this email on behalf of a very shocked mother. Well, it must look like a very different city to your 78-year-old ma'am, to the city she would remember as a teenager herself, or a 20-something, or a 30-something, or rearing children. At the age of 78, that's her experience of it inside in the city, that kind of carry on. And you are right. You would feel sorry for people working in retail on a daily basis. I was walking down Oliver Plunkett Street the other day at lunchtime, and this guy was facing up to this other guy. And just as I was passing him, I can't repeat on air what he was saying to them, but the names that he was calling was right up into his face. Like, you know, this would have been forehead to forehead, name calling him. Not necessarily roaring and screaming at him, but very, very aggressive. And I said, got to get a few steps ahead of these guys, because this is going to kick off. Don't know whether it did or not, but aggression and tension. So that's a shame. Can you imagine working in the GPO? There are security staff there, the nicest bunch of people, always helping, telling people where they need to go and what they need to do. That's their job, like, not sorting out thugs who are brawling on the ground of the GPO. But anyway, we all know where they belong, in prison, isn't it true? Finbar's out of prison, though, thankfully, and getting on with his life. Finbar, good morning.
Good morning, Neil. Good morning to you.
I know you wanted to talk to me about a buddy of yours who's coming out of prison but nowhere to go, but very interested in your own experience in prison. I won't go into the details of why you found yourself in there, because it had to do with court order issues. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
And so we can't go there by law. But you found yourself in Cork prison, didn't you?
I did. I did 2 months in Cork prison, and I was then moved to the Midlands prison up in Laois.
And you have a background of working in the army. That was your career, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Okay. So it was, yeah. So I might come back to that, because part of the point that you were making was that those that you were looking after you in Cork prison, you had actually worked with while in the army. Is that it?
Correct. That's correct. Yeah.
How did you find? Yeah, go on.
And in the other prison as well. It's very understandable that Gardaí will move into the army, or army into the Gardaí, or into the prison service. Between the three.
For more Red FM podcasts, go
8 on the 18th of... I understand this. You know, the cheese slices, and they come the last swim, 30th, losing muscle power, right, as they get older. I don't know. But during the week, there was a jar of sauerkraut at home, and I was trying to make a Reuben say, couldn't open it. I had to dig it 90th, 2017. So next March, which is only 3 or 4 months away, she will be 6 years missing. You may have been listening to the programme yesterday when you heard me talking to Hunter Halpin's mammy, Clodagh, on the air. It's a lovely, lovely story of a guy doing a sea swim every day across the month of November. I'm delighted to say that Olivia Kelleher picks up on the story in the Irish Times this morning, because yesterday Hunter completed his month-long sea swim, and it's great to see him getting recognition and a great colour photograph in the Times this morning, because he's from second class at Gaelscoil I Hegartig. And yesterday on air, we heard him and we heard all of his pals and his classmates in the school at the side of the tide as he was going in for the last swim, 30th swim. And indeed, I think some of his pals and chums from school went in with him. And he raised €3,500 for the school to buy proper sports kit so that they can, enjoy their sports better. If you go to restaurants, I mean, I could talk about this all day, right? I really and truly could. And I was just talking about it yesterday. I couldn't open a jar of jam the day before yesterday. I just could not open it here. I gave it to Claire and she just went, popped it. I don't know whether I'm losing muscle power, right, as I get older. I don't know. But during the week, there was a jar of sauerkraut at home, and I was trying to make a Reuben say, couldn't open it. I had to dig a knife into the top of it to pierce it and then get the top off. And don't even start me then on things like ketchup sachets, right? They're a dose. Or do you know, I'm going off of one, I know, but I'm on the way, so I'll continue. So ketchup sachet, they're impossible to open. So I have no problem with these goddamn ketchup sachets being banned, as they're suggesting. The EU want us to get rid of ketchup sachets and the small little mini bottles of shampoo from hotels. Now, some people use them, other people rob them. But either way, they're saying we need to get rid of these tiny little products for the sake of the environment. But they're nasty little things, aren't they, those ketchup sachets? Or the jars that you kind of... And don't even start me on, you know, the cheese slices. You know the cheese slices, and they come pre-packed in the little plastic thing, and up in one of the corners they have peel to open. Peel to open. Peel what? Like, I could be there 10 or 15 minutes. Eventually just, again, get the knife out. And of course it's daft because, you know, when you open it with a knife and you cut through the plastic, the cheese goes off and off a little faster. But is it just me? Am I the only person that can't open anything? No, seriously.
I can understand. I understand the ketchup sachets, and I feel like ketchup
They're
sachets.
designed by someone who just loves to create pain, and suffering, and mental torture.
The thing about jars, you can give jars welly if you want, because, you know, like
I couldn't do it. You see, Claire.
Well, I just found your Christmas present now from us all to you this year. It's an automatic jar opener that you can buy online.
Hang
just
on,
press a button
there's
and
an
it does it for you.
automatic jar opener in every house. You get a towel, wrap it around the top,
I've done all those
and
things.
then put it in the jamb of the door and twist.
But sure, that's
Job
manual.
done.
That by its very nature is manual. It isn't automatic.
Why have they got harder to open?
Well, or maybe, I mean, I know you're going to the gym more often now, so really, if anything, it should be easier and easier. Do you need to work particularly on a certain strength
But
somewhere?
how many people listening to me right now, and they get a ketchup sachet? They might get it at McDonald's or they might get wherever, right? And it says, it's got the little perforation supposedly on it, and they actually get to tear it. How many people actually have to do it with their teeth?
I don't know, but
I'd say the vast majority of
The
us.
thing about the sachets as well is that, like, you're dicing with danger there, because if you really give it ham, then you're going to end up with ketchup all over yourself. So it's really like you have to kind of exert the exact correct amount of
The EU are right.
What do you think? Just a little tubs? Put them in tubs?
Well, in the old, yeah, I don't know.
I'd be gutted if they took away the little shampoo things from hotels, though.
This house is full of it.
I travelled for a couple of months, and I literally had an entire pocket of my bag, which just had hundreds and hundreds of the shampoos. I was robbing one to use the next place, and then robbing it to use the next
love to
place.
get people's, I mean, and you're right, you know, stock up as you go. As long as you're not taking the toaster, you're not taking the kettle or the Nespresso machine from the hotel room, you're all right.
But the pods are okay.
Yeah, draw the line. Yeah, maybe the coffee, but draw the line on the shampoo. Tell me about this. Tell me about this Limerick man. Would you mind, Eddie O'Keefe, the gate crasher?
Yeah. Well, he. I suppose. What would I say?
He's on the front of the Star this morning. He's the lead story in the Star. A nation holds its bread, which is a pun on the great George Hamilton's Nation Holds Its Bread.
Whoever told you leaving Cert French couldn't take you anywhere? Huh?
What did he do? He walks up to. He gate crashes a live TV report.
So L'Equipe are obviously a famous French sports newspaper, very football centric, and they were speaking to fans, I think, before France's game. I think that was yesterday they were playing.
Yeah.
And I think it was against Tunisia. They ended up winning, I think, but they made a load of changes. Anyway, speaking to this fan about it, and all of a sudden during the middle of the interview, Eddie sees a camera, hears the French, and goes for it.
Je suis une baguette. Il est irlandais, il est KO là, il est raide. Je suis une baguette. Il est irlandais, il est KO là, il est raide.
So the translation of what the TV guy said is the Irish guy there, he's out of it. He's hammered.
Yeah, he's pissed, basically. Don't talk to him. Don't mind him. It is obviously the old Irish club, but I don't know if Eddie was even, you know, or did he just see an opportunity and thought he did
That's
well?
the kind of thing my son would do. Eddie O'Keefe from Kilfinnan, County Limerick, fair play to him.
At least he got the gender right anyway. It definitely is une baguette. So
There's other stories related to the World Cup. Thanks, Kevin. There's this woman, apparently, who ordered McDonald's online. She must have got an awful lot of ketchup sachets with her 160 nuggets and 2 cheeseburgers. Apparently, she also had a few drinks on board, and this is from the Mirror Online. She accidentally ordered 160 McDonald's nuggets when she thought she only ordered 20. Well, she'll have nuggets for dinner and for breakfast and for lunch and for dinner and for breakfast and for lunch. And for the very first time, this has never happened before, we will have an all-women all-women game with regards to those in charge of the game today for the Germany-Costa Rica clash. And the referee is Stephanie Frappart. She's French. She'll become the first woman to referee a match at a men's World Cup. In fact, it's an all-female on-field team for this Group E match today between Germany and Costa Rica. There are other stories making the papers today, including the sad passing of Christine McVie of Fleetwood Mac at the age of 79. Many people didn't know she was even sick, including apparently members of Fleetwood Mac who didn't even know that she was unwell. More on that a little later on this morning. And of course, one of the great songs that she wrote. Lines open. You can text